Yeah, all right, welcome back. This is another inline build with a manufacturer. This is Deimos, and this is what happens when Mr. Krabs buys the Deimos Corporation and starts telling them how to design ships. So we have another Class B. Class B sucks, man. It's really not easy to make Class Bs. I've even got the purple pants, purplish. I mean, it depends on what you're looking at, whether they're purple or more like blue. Couldn't really do eyeballs, so he's a Cyclops now. It's what it is. Uh, Reasonable stats. 39 reactor, plenty of jump range, shields finds, the Vanguard Obliterator. Or Vanguard. Cargo is not spectacular, but it's pretty good. You got plenty of shielded. You do have the multi-freak. There's no Crimson Fleet on this. I didn't want to go too crazy in it, and this price is close. I think it's a little closer to 300, but I do have 4 of 4 in commerce, whatever that skill is that reduces the price. Lots of power. No Vanguard Obliterators this time. It's just straight up Class B weapons. So we'll take a look-see here around it. It's got the claws in the front, right? I do realize he has really skinny arms, but it looked terrible that way. And I'm going to show you how this does represent Deimos minus the two pieces sticking out on each side. But I wanted to make something fun and different than, the standard Deimos ship, which is arguably all looks exactly the same, and it's pretty terrible. But it's got decent cargo space. I'm considering this to be a mid-level Deimos fighter. So they're sending, a good portion of these. They're not sending as many as they're sending of their like throwaway fighters, but this is like their mid-size fighter. So we'll take a look-see here and show you some specs. Get a good look at it here. So you can see I used the PBO 100s. These are your auto turrets, and then under here you have the PB 175 helium beams. Now, someone's going to wonder, why do you always use particle beams? That's because that's what I have all my talents in, and they are the best weapons in the game. It is what it is. You can do plenty of damage with everything else, but particle weapon at this moment of the time are the Photom. So, you do have a Class B suppressor, just one, but I'm figuring this really isn't meant to be a boarding ship, but you have the ability if you want to use that ability. And it kind of acts like the singular eyeball. Like maybe he got punched in the face and it hit his eye, and one of them's bandaged up, so he can only see one eye. You've got a multi-freak. I did not put the Crimson Fleet stuff on here, though you've got space to do it. You could put it here and there if you wanted to add to that. It has a very large shielded cargo, and that was because trying to have two of these dropped it to 96 mobility. I wanted to keep the mobility up to... 96 is still perfectly fine, but whatever. I wanted to keep it up. It has different types of engines. These are literally used by Deimos in their ships. But it's standard Class Bs. I was going to do a 4 of these, but it didn't look right, and this does... how many Deimos ships use this tail here? And they use these buffering it. 420 of the jump fuel, so quite decent on the fuel. It only needs 3 landing gear, but there's no way to tripod it. Like, if I could put a landing gear underneath the nose of the cockpit, great. It would look fine, and then get rid of one and have nothing under the wings, or wings, I should say, the claws. I think it would look great, but it is what it is. We don't have that option, so... lots of habs. You'll see when we go inside. All of this is habs. So you got plenty of space to do other things, and it is sectioned off. You've got, quote, living on one side and business on the other side. So let's go take a quick-see look inside here. The colors are hysterical. I actually had a really cool color scheme before, red and black, but I'm like, screw it. Let's just go all in. He bought the company, man. He wants to. This is his flagship. All right, you're gonna come up into a battle. Everything's Deimos. You come up into a battle stations. You've got next door to the battle stations. You have an armory. Armory is going to go over to the work side, so we have a cargo 1x1. We have
any news to share?
It's the B of the 3x1 engine room. So you have an A and a B for Deimos, and this is the B. I thought it fit more than the A is more like analog. It's more engines and machines, whereas this is more digital. It's more computer controlled and things like that.
Have any new books for me?
And then we'll hop over to the other side.
You need something?
Both of these have the same layout. They go in from this front
You're looking well.
to a 1x1 and then into a 3x1. So this side's a companionway, and we go into their 3x1.
I'm ready to head out again when you are.
I believe this is the living quarters, but it might be the all-in-one.
Well.
I'm going to say this is the all-in-one. This doesn't look like their living quarters. The living quarters doesn't have as many beds. I like the living quarters better, but it doesn't have as many beds.
Hi.
And then you get up here to the cockpit. Same cockpit you find on the Razorleaf, the Mantis questline. Nothing super special. This is going to require starship design. I tried to make it so that it was only Class B and no starship design. The best power I could get out of that reactor-wise was like 23 or 25. That's just not going to work. It's just what it is, man. B, there's a reason that a whole bunch of people aren't showcasing Class B ships. It's much harder to get everything you need to get, and try to keep it all low skills, because you still need to have piloting 3 to be able to fly Class B to begin with. Alright, I'll be back with you in a minute. We're going to head over to Deimos. I'm going to show you their ships. You can see how this does fall in line with the looks of their ships, and then we'll do a teardown. Alright, so once again, let's take a look at our ship.
Let's get you set up.
And then we'll take a look at the ships they have to offer. So pay attention. I realize the color is going to throw you off, but pay attention to the bladed wings, all the extra frill running down in a line, the radiators, the wing up here, the specific engines that it has, the landing gear that it has, the cockpit, the brakes, everything. Pay attention to those, because that will be important in how... I mean, look straight in. Same. Same landing bay. Same. I mean, it's because I used all Deimos, so it. Now they do have different engines on this. Different type of fuel tanks. Same docker. So that's all very much in line with, obviously the shape that I made mine is different. I mean, look, I did that exact same thing down my side. They overused the brakes. I kind of wanted to try to find something else, but it is what it is. So using the same kind of step down, go to a radiator, step down again. That's an interesting shape in the back. But they use that little piece with this piece. I use the 2 for the claws in the front. Where's the one? They actually have a few different ships. Same engines that I have on the bottom. Yeah, it's weird. You come in and come back again, and they have every single one of these has had a tail so far. We got some different landing gear this time. There you go. There's those engines. God, the paint job on this is just so weird. But I did a very similar design here, similar thing there, same engines. So you can see that while the look of the ship I built with the two, quote, crab arms coming out doesn't really represent Deimos, but I mean, it has the same types of parts used in a similar way to represent Deimos as best I could. It's all Deimos habs, Deimos landing gear, Deimos landing bay, everything. So I'll be back in just a moment, and we will have this tore down, and I'll show you the pieces. Alright, let's take a look at this thing. So, weirdly enough, by looking at this shape, it gives me an idea for another thing. I mean, it's not like no one's ever done it. The pod racers gives me an idea. Anyways, so start here at the bottom. You got his kind of purple pants. These are black. I painted these black just so that they weren't being shown, because you wouldn't have your pants clear under your arms. Anyway, so you start with these guys. You got the 760s. It's the sextant, and then you go into these, which have a bit of an up angle to them. And now this specific shielded cargo I got from the Crimson Fleet, which means if you don't have access to the Crimson Fleet, you're probably going to have to go to the Red Mile to get it. If you don't know where the Red Mile is, just look up Starfield, the Red Mile, and it'll tell you exactly where it is. It's not available at our outpost that I'm aware of, and I haven't seen anybody else that sells it. But it's a massive, massive shielded cargo. And I had to do that for weight. I had to drop the weight, because what I had originally, in the back right here, I had the standard shielded cargo, the 160 that a lot of people use, but that's 48 weight or something. So even though this is the same weight of this one that's 585, I dropped 47 weight by just putting on this little nose here. So it worked out really well. You have the Deimos landing bay, of course, Deimos landing gear. It's possible if you went to Nova landing gear, you could get away with 2. Especially if you dropped a little bit more of the weight in the storage. If you didn't need that much, it's possible to maybe you could get it down to 2. Hard to say, because if you take this away, it's fine, but if you take this away, it's not fine. So adding 2, because these are 3 each and it'd be 4 each, maybe you might be able to get away with it. The double 210s, I use these on a lot of ships, mainly because they take up a full 1x1 and they're only 1 thick, or half thick, I should say. So engines are the SAE 5660s. Is the biggest maneuvering thrust. That's the biggest issue with B ships, is the mobility sucks. I mean, it sucks so bad trying to get a Class B ship to do all the things and actually have 100 mobility. It's a super big challenge. I only have 35 left or something before it drops, and that's after changing these things out. So that gets you that first layer. We go up into the business layer, the habitation section. So we're just using Phobos cockpit. I believe this is the largest one before. Let's find out. Pretty sure it's the largest one you can get before you need to have cockpits. Yes. So you could get 20 more weight out of it. I'm sure that would fit. 20 more cargo space, by adding the other one, since there are pieces on here that require Starship's design anyway. And again, I did try, but wow, the B engines, reactors. Start all the way down so I know we're at C, okay. So to get down where we have, that does not require Starship design, it has 16. F that noise. Let's see. There you go. There's a 18. Woo! Getting bigger. 21. 21 is the highest power you can get. This is that I'm aware of. I didn't run around all over hell and back trying to look at just reactors to see if there was some rando that would give you more. I'm not flying a ship with 21 power. I have those ships. I have the 20 power ship and the 23 power ship and things like that. I don't need to do that anymore. So, yes, they do require Starship design, but you got a 39, plenty of power to do everything you need to do. You have a pretty reasonable grav drive. The Bs don't get much bigger than this because they don't have the double stack, so you're not getting like the 45 and the 50, but it's got 30 jump range, so who cares? I mean, it's fine. And 2685 cargo without talents and SAM is actually perfectly fine. It still gives you plenty. So, hab-wise, you got your brakes, of course. We start with Deimos Battle Station. Configure this however you want. But Deimos Battle Station, and then I used an armory. You can use anything. If you don't like the idea of having an engineering bay, you could put over here a 2x1 of the, say, the research facility, and then a science lab, and then the workshop. And if you don't like the all-in-one, change it to the living quarters. The living quarters actually looks better. But it has only 2 beds. Do what you will with that. Then I put companionway this side, storage room that side, just because it's more, this is more business, this is more, playtime, leisure. It has the blades, the wings. Then you've got the starboard, or the wing C is what it's called. That's what it is. You got the flippers. I don't know why I call them flippers, but in any case, you got the Deimos belly. When you put them together, they do kind of resemble pincers. And then in the last, you got this little guy. This was just for decoration. Use it, don't use it. But I like that it does have lights on it. It's not very bright lights, but there are lights. And then kind of sneakily hidden under here, you got the PB-175s. So there's 4 of those. And even without the obliterators, it's a lot of money in weapons. So, like I said, with 404 and the talent, I believe this is probably a 300, 310 build. So, not the cheapest, but certainly not what you would consider expensive once you're in the, hell, some of you even in the teens, but certainly by the 20s or so, 300k is not that bad. If you're building your dream ship, if it happened to be this goofy colored Krab Atacc. So up here you got a couple of the cowlings, just to act like the oversized pincers that he has. And honestly, it would probably look better with this one instead of this piece. But putting this piece here, the spine C versus the spine A, just makes it look different. And I had to separate it anyway to be able to put the shield, which is dumb that we can't put a plate on this and then stick the shield on the plate, but whatever. And there is no other place to put the plate or the shield. It just, see, that's another thing. Why can't I invert that and stick it under my ship? Like, why can't I have it underneath this? Well, I guess that's the top, underneath that over here. It makes no sense. I should be able to, but it is what it is. So, plate with a multi-freak, and you come up. Some people have noticed that I don't really use these radiators much, and since Deimos does use them all the time, I'm like, hey man, perfect chance to use them. And then you get the neutron turrets, the PBO-100s, 4 of those. I did get in a fight when I came off of Narion, and they were like 12s. Before I could even lock on and fire, these things had already killed them. More of the cowlings. You've got the Deimos Docker. I like these because you don't actually have to climb up in them. You got the wing, or tail. Sorry, tail. And then the Nova 1050 engines, which still not a heck of a lot of thrust, but It's functional. Did I miss anything here? I don't think so. Alright, let's zippity on back. Let's go out and do a little speed test.
When you get serious about your spacecraft, come back to Deimos.
You know, barring the color, change the color, do whatever you want. You know, don't paint it to look just like Mr. Krabs.
Read any good
It's actually
books lately?
pretty good ship. I'm not a huge fan of Class B. I like either Class A or Class C, but it is a pretty good ship. We'll show you the power distribution too, because it's you have plenty of power at 39 now. Mind you, that's with my talent, my skills, which are maxed. I'm basically just taking one from the auto turrets. And so now we got engines maxed, shields maxed, everything maxed. And let's see what we got going on here. Gets up to speed very quickly. So you could call this a fast attack ship. 218 looks like where it's stopping. Let's see what we do with boost. What is C, about 813 or so. So it's not the fastest thing ever. You know, it's not a like 233 speed and what was that one ship, 1100 and something with boost. But it's damn reasonable. And I'm fine with that. That is the purpose of this ship, is to be a mid-sized fighter. Not your little tiny zippity doodahs around, you know, they're dodging and weaving everything. This is more, or like a heavy fighter. I guess this could be considered a heavy fighter class. So, fully talented with Sam, 4651 cargo. I think that's fine. 2610 shield, that's with Omari Hassan. And then the Vanguard. Plenty of damage output, just ridiculous amounts of damage output. So, yeah, hope you guys liked it. A fun little build. And that covers Deimos. I still have more ideas for Deimos, so I'll probably do other videos. But thanks for watching.